Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his girlfriend has been cheating on him with her ex. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I, 22 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 25, for the last 3 years. We met in college when she was the leader of a student group I had joined and had hit it off. My roommate actually had a huge crush on her twin sister, so we would spend a lot of time together, simply because he would always find excuses to try and spend time with the twin. This obviously worked out in my favor, as it meant I had an excuse to spend time with her without coming off as desperate. It didn't work out with my roommate and the twin, but my girlfriend and I did get together. For the last 2 years of our relationship, I had an off-campus house where I lived with 3 other guys, one of them being my old roommate. And so most of the time my girlfriend and I spent together was spent there since it was an easy walk to campus. Although it didn't always leave us with too much privacy since at least one of my housemates was usually around. She gets along well with them, however, so I didn't mind. And I had my own room for if we really wanted to engage in something that needed real privacy. She would often sleep over or spend the whole day there with me. She does have her own place where she lives with her sister and friends, but she told me that she doesn't like spending time there as they're often in a bad mood, as her friend and sister apparently bicker a lot. I have no problem with this, as it's easier for me to spend time in my own house anyway. So our story begins when, one day, I went to pick her up to take her out for dinner. I rang the bell and her roommate answered, telling me that my girlfriend was in the bathroom getting ready. Her roommate and I made some chit-chat. My girlfriend was only in the bathroom for around a minute or so while I was there, but as we went to leave, her housemate invited me to a Halloween party with them. My girlfriend gets annoyed by this, but I told her I would love to come as I don't get to spend that much time with my girlfriend away from my housemates. A few times before the party, she mentioned thinking about not going. But my heart was set on it, so we ended up going dressed as a cat and mouse. I picked her up and drove her to the party since I do not drink alcohol, as my mother was an alcoholic. We went to the party and it was pretty fun. Lots of grad students and people her age. I played it cool and tried not to drink too much. I noticed, however, that over the course of the night, my girlfriend made sure not to touch me at all. She would talk to me and I would be affectionate, and she wasn't rude, but she would not make any physical contact. Finally, I decided to sneak a kiss, so while she was talking to a group of people, I kissed her and she froze. To my surprise, a guy who was dressed like a kangaroo shoved me. He looked vaguely familiar, but I didn't think I had ever seen him before. Thinking he thought I was a random creep, I tried to explain that this was my girlfriend who I had shown up to the party with. To my surprise, the guy got even angrier, screaming at me that I had just kissed his girlfriend, who had come to the party to see him, and that I had been harassing her all night. Upon getting a better look at the kangaroo guy, I realized that this was the guy she had claimed was her ex, whom she had broken up with during my freshman year of college. I tried to explain that she had been seeing me for the last 3 years and he got pissed at me and tried to punch me. He ended up slipping on an ice cube that someone had dropped on the ground from a spilled drink as he went to punch me. All eyes at the party were on me, and I told my girlfriend I don't date cheaters and walked out, leaving her crying and kangaroo guy fuming as he tried to get up in the cumbersome costume. She texted me berating me for humiliating her in front of the entire party and said that if I really loved her, I would have stayed. I asked her how long she had been seeing him for, and she said a year. I told her that if she liked the kangaroo guy enough to cheat on me with him, she should ask him for a ride home. I blocked her, and when I got home and told my housemates about it, they all blocked her as well. She lost the respect of 2 groups of friends that night, as well as a quality boyfriend. I have no idea if she ever ended up with the kangaroo guy or not, and frankly, I don't care. I'm graduating college next week and will be happy if I never hear her name again. Glad you broke it off right then and there, OP. Your ex was obviously two-timing between you and her ex. Thank goodness her friend invited you to the party, because if you hadn't gone there, I bet you would still be with her. She deserves the embarrassment she got that night. If she really loved you, she wouldn't be cheating on you. Congratulations on graduating. I hope your ex learned some lessons from everything that happened. Story 2. To preface this, let me say that this relationship began in high school but managed to flourish to a point throughout college. I, 19 male, have encountered my fair share of women, but I don't think I could find many people who I gel with. I would say I'm a sensitive, altruistic kind of guy, and she's a hypersensitive girl, 19. We share common interests. I see a possible future with her if we can get over this. I understand that we're both young, but this situation I find myself in is quite complicated. And I'm struggling with my identity, jealousy, and pressure from many outside sources who don't comprehend the full story, which I will address right now. My girlfriend is prone to unreasonable bursts of anger and resentment as a result of her upbringing and past relationships. It would be fair to say that my reasonable nature clashes with her occasional unreasonable thoughts and feelings. I say occasional because throughout our relationship, she has viewed me as her rock, her map, whatever you want to call it. I've been put on a pedestal and then removed, thrown into a bin, only to be put up again a few hours later. Regardless, I believe she may have borderline personality disorder, and what are people with BPD more likely to do? Cheat. The following happened about a month and a half ago. Being long distance at the time, I hadn't been able to validate my feelings for her as well as I could. Skyping is one thing, but I don't really think that you can beat being there in person. It's a completely different feeling. Anyway, I had to inform her that I wouldn't be able to come up and visit her at some point due to family obligations. And basically, she blew a gasket and decided we should take a break. All during finals week. I have clinical anxiety, and I figured having one less thing to worry about during this trying time could only really help my grades. I guess putting problems to the side like this never really helped the emotionally unstable. Anyway, she told me we should be faithful. I wouldn't even think of hurting her like that. Long story short, she went to hang out with some new friends in a nearby college town. The other guy wasn't even an object of interest to her until he started hitting on her, full well knowing she was still technically with me. Her description of him made it sound like he was awkward and unattractive, and that he made her feel so uncomfortable. Eventually, they started talking, and I guess they connected on some level. She ended up giving him a blowjob in his room, but nothing more. She didn't receive anything. The other guy apparently had problems of his own, and apparently had a friend who was egging him on to hook up with her. Kinda messed up if you ask me, on both of their parts. The confusing part is, she's the one that approached me about having a problem. She's surprisingly self-aware, and while she's not been tested, I fully believe that the circumstances of her cheating are a combination of her unstable emotions, resulting from this disorder, relationship and school stress, along with the fact that some assholes put her in an awkward position. At first, she didn't want much to do with me after she took things too far. She kind of felt like a different person to me. People with BPD disassociate and try to stray from stressors. Despite this, we kept in contact and remained friends, because I don't particularly believe in burning bridges if I can avoid it, coupled with the fact that I still held feelings for her. In order to set myself apart from this asshole who hit on my girlfriend, I vowed I wouldn't pressure her into doing anything sexual with me. But she insisted, and essentially, she's more attracted and more comfortable around me, and her actions show it. She has accepted that by staying with me, she'll take part in rebuilding my trust, love, and happiness. She's actively more compassionate towards me. She exclaimed that she would never make the same mistake. This is the first time she's ever cheated, hopefully the last. I've heard a lot about the other guy from my girlfriend. Apparently, he's a child of a divorce, awkward, not particularly good looking, I have seen pictures, and recovering from a long-term breakup. I talked to the guy, and while I think what he did is douchey, I see where he came from. I just kind of pity him if I'm being honest. Even told him to hit the gym and get his life together by distancing himself from his other manipulative friend. He apologized, said he regretted it, and said he would never make the same mistake again. But still, even knowing all of this, being the victim is quite difficult. Swinging from high to low self-esteem as if my brain periodically flips a switch. It's hard to get images of what happened out of my head. And despite being pretty rational and understanding of the whole situation, and generally superior to the other guy, it still bugs me and is debilitating at times. I'm also angry that someone would take advantage of my emotionally unstable girlfriend, who I care for deeply. I guess posting on Reddit helps me feel better, and to hear from all of the strong people in this subreddit would mean a lot. I plan to go to therapy at my uni, but I'm sure you all have something different to contribute. Has anyone been in a similar situation? I understand that I should be having fun at 19. But I can't shake the fact that me staying is the right thing to do. Any advice would be appreciated. Edit. Forgot to mention, we're not long distance anymore. Same city for the foreseeable future. OP, I'm sorry you're going through this. I think you're way too young to be dealing with this. Your love for your girlfriend is there, you just can't seem to get over what she did. The truth is, you might never be able to get over what she did. But like they say, time heals. Maybe in the near future, it won't bother you as much anymore. Do go to therapy at your uni and make your girlfriend go too. Remember, you alone cannot make a relationship work. If your girlfriend isn't putting as much effort into saving the relationship as you are, then you need to leave. I'll also add that if she cheats on you again, whatever the reason may be, you need to leave. Set up deal breakers for yourself, and if your girlfriend does any of them, please leave. You're way too young to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't value you, regardless of whether she has a mental illness or not.